Global Fight Talk here. I'm your girl, Lisa Marie, and I have none other than Mark Delarosa on the line. Mark's going to be stepping in the cage October 14th at the Bomb Factory for Legacy FC. Mark, what's going on? Go ahead and bring you in.
Nothing, so I'm driving. Just got done with practice. I'm on my way home.
That is awesome. Well, hey, thank you for taking the time out. I know we had some difficulties yesterday. That was my fault. So I greatly appreciate you doing this for me. But let's talk about your upcoming fight. Man, this is going to be a great one. You're fighting none other than Steven Peterson, Steven Ocho Peterson. He's a veteran in the game. He's 14-4. You are going to try to stay undefeated. You're 7-0, correct?
Yes.
You're 7-0 in the MMA world, and they call you the Bumblebee. Let's talk about that one first, okay? Why the Bumblebee? When I think of Bumblebee, I think of boxing, Muhammad Ali. So I don't know, maybe that's something that's similar to that.
It has to do with my boxing. I've been boxing since I was 12, but I got the nickname from Mark Lehman over at Team Takedown. I came in, and it was way before I started actually doing MMA. I would go and just box with like Chaz Skelly and the MMA guys at Team Takedown, and he would always say, "Man, you're fast. You're super fast. You float like a butterfly. You move like a butterfly. Sting like a bee." And then he just started calling me Triple B, and then he started calling me Bumblebee, and then it just started sticking. And ever since then, everybody started calling me Bumblebee.
So you decided to keep with that name.
I decided to keep it.
Awesome.
They're given. You can't make up your own nickname.
No,
they got to be given.
You can't give yourself your own nickname because it just wouldn't feel right, and you got to explain. Oh, you know what? I thought I give myself a name. No, it has to come from somebody else just to make it more official. Well, I remember many years ago. I just got through interviewing your girlfriend Montana, and we talked about us sparring for the very first time. But I also sparred you. Back in the old Phalanx, and I remember sparring you, and I was like, hey, you move pretty good, because at the time I thought you were an MMA fighter. And I said, oh, you have pretty good hands. And you were like, no, I'm a boxer. I boxed before. So casual. I was like, oh, okay, that's probably why you have good hands. But you've been boxing since you were 12 years old. Who was your boxing coach, or are they still your boxing coach?
Yes, Tony Cabello. He's been my boxing coach. He's my first boxing coach. He's been my only boxing coach.
Okay, that's awesome. So let's talk about this fight. You're fighting for a title, 135 pounds, right? Is that 135? Yeah. That's a title. Yeah. Do you usually fight at 135? Because I know you fought at 25 before.
Well, I fought at catch weights of like 32 and 30.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't, me personally, I don't like cutting the weight. I don't like cutting weight. I mean, I've always fought, obviously bigger guys, but, a fight's a fight. I've always fought guys that are taller, looking a little bit bigger and stuff. But, 35 is not really a big a big wake-up for me. I just diet, and I end up, I diet, and I get pretty close to the fight weight.
Right. So
it's not too bad. I can make 25, in which I will do in the future. I will definitely, when I'm in the UFC, I definitely will fight at 125. I'm open to both 35 and 25, but, for right now, on the local scene, and even for Legacy, I'll fight 35 or 25. I was supposed to fight for the 25-pound belt, but both guys, both of the interim and the main champ, are both in the Ultimate Fighter right now. So that offer was off the table because they can't, they filmed it, and it would show the outcome if I fought any one of those guys. So I can't. So they offered me the 35-pound belt, said nobody wanted to fight Peterson, and I was like, I'll take it. That sounds like a golden ticket to me.
Right. Okay. Well, I know you have a title for a different promotion company.
2 titles for 2 different promotions.
Okay, so you have 2 titles. Are they both at 35?
Yes.
Okay. So you're going to try to make this a third one, and again, try to keep your record undefeated. You know Steven from the MMA scene. He's been in it. He's a veteran. He's 14-4. Obviously, his record doesn't bother you. You wouldn't have stepped up. You've been, fighting since you were 12 years old. What do you think your advantage for someone who's young, up and coming, who's 7-0, have someone against someone versus someone who's 14-4 with more experience and older.
Yeah.
What do you think your advantage or maybe disadvantage to someone like that?
I don't really see any disadvantage. I mean, maybe the only disadvantage, she has a little more ring experience, as actually like live ring experience. But like I said, I've been fighting since a young age. I've been going against world-class fighters since a really young age. I mean, I got the youth on them. I got the speed. I got the cardio. I got the technique. I mean, I honestly believe I'm better. I'm well-rounded all around.
This is a five-minute round, and everybody wants to finish the fight before the fight, before 5 rounds. Nobody really wants to go the full rounds. I never want to go full rounds. I want to finish it first. I would love to finish a fight in the first round. But do you have any predictions for this fight, or other than you wanting to win, and how much devastating of a win do you want to make it, known that you won the fight against someone like Steven Peterson, especially? I heard through the grapevine that Dana White might be there, and Legacy is feeds fighters to the UFC. How much does this mean to you, trying to get to that next level?
And it means a lot to me. I mean, I've sacrificed a lot to get where I'm at. I've busted my ass. I mean, I've done so much to get to where I'm at right now, and I don't plan on letting any of it go, letting it pass me by. I mean, one loss is a big, big setback to get in those big companies. I mean, Dana White there and stuff, if he is there, whether he's there or not, I mean, I always want to finish, and I'm going to look to put on a show. I mean, whether I definitely want I'm always looking for the finish. I don't want to go 5 rounds, but I have the cardio to go 5 5s.
Right.
So either or, it's going to be a good, exciting fight. I've never been in a boring fight. Ocho's never been in a boring fight. But, I mean, it's going to be a really good fight.
Would you call this your biggest test of your career right now?
I mean, it's looking like it. I mean, I just fought a Brazilian that was 13-3. My last fight, he had lost in like 10 years. He was on a 11-fight win streak, 8 knockouts, and they flew him out from Brazil. And I mean, we went the distance, but it was me schooling him for every round.
Yeah, I saw that fight. I definitely saw that fight. He was a very tough guy. You hit him with everything, and yeah, you won completely. It was unanimous, but yeah. But when I say your biggest test, maybe not so much the person, but just like I said, if you're a real true fighter, some people do it for a hobby. It's sad to say, and some people really want to do it as a career. When I see you through social media, I see, the videos and everything. You really want this. You want this to make this your career. And it's just how your lifestyle on social media. I don't see it personally, but what you post on there, it shows that your lifestyle pertains to fighting only. And that's what you want to do. Is that, am I right in that?
Yeah, you're correct. I mean, I don't know how to do anything else. I mean, if it was up to my dad or anybody, I'd be doing construction, doing 12-hour shifts on either a construction site or an oil rig. But, I mean, fighting's my life. That's all I think about. That's all I want to do. I don't know. In my head, I don't know how to do anything else.
Right. And then when you don't know how to do anything, not that you can't, right?
Not that I can't. I don't want to do anything else.
You don't want to. That's a huge difference that I want people to understand if they're listening. It's not that you can. It's that you don't want to. You have a choice, and your choice is I want to fight, and I'm going to put 1,000% into this. And it will show you the outcome. You are undefeated, 7-0, so that just tells it all. So I was talking to Montana. I just got through interviewing her, and I asked her some questions. I'm going to ask you the same questions. I mean, she just came off a great win last week, and she's fighting, on the same card as you. You both guys are a televised fight. How much is it a big deal or a bonus for your own girlfriend to be a fighter just as well? Is there some ups and downs to that? And, I'm sure you guys help each other out a lot. Again, I see all this through social media that you guys are always supportive of each other. How much of a bonus is that to have a girlfriend that fights just as well and understands what you're going through and how important that is for someone like that to understand that part?
Oh, it's a big bonus. I mean, she understands the mood you get whenever you're cutting the last like 2 pounds. I mean, when it comes to eating healthy, going to practice. I mean, before Montana, I had another girlfriend. She never understood it. Like, why you stay in the gym so late? Why are you at LA Fitness? Why are you cutting weight so late? Why are you always in the gym? Why do you got to run in the morning? Why do you got to stay out so late training? Because, I mean, I train sometimes midnight. I'll go out to 24-hour fitness with my boxing coach, and we'll be working midnight. We'll work 2 o'clock in the morning. I can call up at any point and say, Coach, I'm ready to work, or let's move. They don't understand that stuff. When I've been in Montana, it's good that she fights. She understands the diet. She understands the cardio I need, the running. She helps push me, helps motivate me, even whenever she's not in fight camp. I mean, it's great. Couldn't ask for anything else. It's great.
Well, October 14th, you're stepping in the cage. You're going to be fighting for the 135 title belt for Legacy FC. Like I was telling her, I'm sure you know, Legacy sold their company, Mick sold his company. So right now, I'm not too sure what to call it right now because it had another name when I was reading.
It's still going to be Legacy. It's still going to be Legacy Fighting Championship to the end of the year. Then next year it's going to be Legacy Fighting Alliance.
Okay, got it. Okay, so you're going to be fighting for Legacy FC 61. You're going to be on a televised card, the main card. You're going to be fighting for the 135-pound title against none other than Steven Peterson, who's 14-4. Again, let's talk about this. How can people get tickets? Do you have tickets to sell, or how does that work?
You can get your tickets at cagetex.com. I mean, from I hear they're selling out. I hear that they're about to be sold out. I've ordered over 80 tickets, and I probably have like 40 left of scattered. I mean, some of them are still together, but I got I sold half already, and usually everybody buys them all out the last as it gets closer and closer to the fight. But what I'm hearing, I mean, I've seen the card. I mean, there's a bunch of local fighters, every fight on there is an exciting fight. Every fight on that place is going to be packed. It's going to be sold out, and it's going to sell out quick.
Okay. Now, I know that you're looking for sponsors. For those sponsors that are listening, if you want your logo, this is a televised fight. This is a young, up-and-coming prospect who's 7-0, who I'm sure by next year will be in the UFC. So you've got to get your company logo on him. You've got to sponsor this kid. It helps. It helps them with their fight camp. Let's talk about that. How important is sponsors for fighters? I want them to understand. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big. I mean, luckily, I mean, I've been blessed. I mean, I've met the right people. I've been in the right places at the right time. And, I mean, luckily, I mean, I'm always open to sponsors, but I mean, God's blessed me with. I mean, I have a good load of sponsors. I mean, they're a big deal. I mean, people think, oh, you're a fighter. They see me on posters. They see my videos. They think I'm just living life. I mean, I'm making all this money, but I mean, I'm really not. I'm busting my ass. I mean, every money I get, I mean, I drive 30 minutes 3 times a day, every day, to get to all my practices, to my gyms. I mean, I fill up my tank at least 3 times a week. I mean, I'm busting all my money I make from my fights go straight to the bank, and I spend it on fighting, whether it's gear, whether it's gas, insurance, and stuff like that. I mean, so when I get all my sponsors help, and when I'm in fight camp, it plays a big role. Makes things way smoother, less stressful.
Right. Well, sponsors, they play a huge role for you. And, of course, sponsors want something in return. So what do you do for sponsors? And this is the time to let them know as a fighter, what do you do in return for them?
Yeah, for my sponsors that sponsor me, I mean, I give them social media shout-outs. They're on my fight shorts. They're on my fight shirt. They're on my walkout banner. I make them custom 2x6 banners for their businesses. They get postcards. They get I have a whole folder and stuff for my sponsors with pictures, with more advertising opportunities and stuff like that, and chances to work with more of my sponsors, with my photographers, with my guys who make my banners, who make my T-shirts and stuff like that. A bunch of my sponsors, they're all getting more and more connected. They're all working together, and we're all helping each other out. We're all helping our businesses and helping grow each other's name.
That's awesome. Well, I know your goal is to get to the UFC. right? That's pretty much everybody's goal. But once you're in there, Mark, what's the ultimate goal for you? You know, like, I know you want that UFC title. Everybody does. As a fighter, everybody wants that UFC title. But how important, other than the title, what else do you want to come out on top, you know, being as a fighter, people knowing you? What do you want to be known for?
I mean, to be honest, I mean, when I step in there, I want to be known as a good role model for the kids, for people. I just want to be known as a great fighter, a good person, good attitude, someone your kids can look up to, someone you can look up to, inspiration. I mean, I just want to inspire people.
Right. If there was any kids listening, or, you know, there's, you know, even fighters now, what can you tell them? You know, any advice that you would give them as you learn throughout the years, the do's, the don'ts, and what you should do to better and progress yourself? Is there any advice that you can give someone listening who thought about fighting, or still in the fight game, or think about quitting, or whatever? What can you say to them?
I mean, like the only thing I say is, I mean, stay in the gym, keep training. My first 2 years of training was me just getting beat up, like, constantly, whether it was jiu-jitsu, wrestling, boxing. My first 2 years, it was just me constantly getting just beat up. I wanted to quit every day, but, I mean, something in me, I mean, I wanted to be a fighter. I'd go show up to the gym, whether what jiu-jitsu, whatever it was, getting my butt handed to me for at least a year and a half, almost 2 years, just constantly, every day going to the gym. But, I mean, I wanted to be a fighter. I kept on going, started seeing my mistakes, started getting better. And as far as, like, I mean, saying just keep at it, I mean, just constantly, I mean, all businesses, whenever you're working with sponsors and stuff, you gotta put them on social media. You gotta help promote your name. I mean, how can I say it? Any chance you can get any chance you get to get your name out there, go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things that's interesting that you said, that the first 2 years you got your butt handed to you. That's one thing that people don't realize, that people who want to fight, and sometimes they want it given up because they got their butt whooped in a sparring session. Okay?
Yeah.
And one thing they have to realize, sparring, you don't win or lose. You learn from it. And you know, you can't go in there, I beat up so. I've heard many stories, you know, where fighters talk about, I beat up so-and-so. There is no beating up anybody in a sparring session, to me personally, and this is just my personal opinion. You learn from it. You know, egos go out the window, and you're learning in a sparring session for yourself, not for anybody else. You want to know where you're at as a fighter, what you need to work on, what you're good at, what you're not good at, and work on that. So you shouldn't quit if you don't, how people would think you won or got the best that day, because everybody starting out gets their ass whooped at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then guess what? Then now you're whooping everybody else's ass, and then it's a domino effect. You know, everybody has to get it at the very beginning, and if you keep going, you're going to be that person that they're going to be scared of to spar. That's just how it goes. And you shouldn't quit, you know? Exactly. But one thing that's very important in the fight game, you got to be mentally strong. How important is it to be mentally strong more than physical for a fight or during training session?
It's really, really important. I mean, some days, there's going to be some days where you're just going to be a little off, you know what I mean? Some guys that you're usually choking out, taking down, punching, beating them, or getting the better of. Sometimes they're going to get the better of you. Sometimes you're going to have your off days. But, as long as you're strong, you're positive and you're strong inside the head, it's very important, because if not, you can some guys beat themselves really bad, like, I suck, I shouldn't be losing to that guy, I shouldn't be doing this, I beat him every time. It's like, you're going to have those days. We all have those days.
Exactly. Or you just got to realize they're just probably getting better too.
And that too.
And they're getting better too. But anyways, we talked about sponsors. What sponsors do you have right now? Let's go ahead and get them an opportunity to shout them out on Global Fight Talk. What sponsors do you have right now that you want to give a shout out to?
Right now, I have. I gotta pull up a picture. I just gotta get in my banner made, so I'm pulling it up.
Okay.
I want to give a shout out to Doc's Mouth Guards.
Yeah, shout out to Doc. He's a great guy. Shout out to he did my mouth guard last month in 24 hours. before I had to leave for my fight last month. So shout out to him.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Dr. Mouthguards. Sneaker Lyrics, Align Motor Company, Chef Piper. She's making all my meals for this camp. Definitely I don't have to meal prep, so it's even better. Reyes Boxing, On It, Garcia Construction, Alliance Reconstruction, Thornhill Motor Company, Pressure. They make some great geese. Hayabusa, they just sponsored me. They sent me a bunch of stuff. Nice, good check, too. Beastman Production, Specimen Fight Gear, Jason Pierce, Young Guns Custom Framing, JJ Auto Cells, and Genesis Jiu-Jitsu.
That is awesome. Okay, before we wrap up this interview, any shout-outs you want to give to, like your family, team, trainer and partners, anything you want to give a shout-out to?
Big shout-out to my girlfriend, Montana Stewart. She helps me with everything, helps me push through every day. Because we have some really tough, hard training sessions, and we got to help motivate each other to go to practice. Because it gets, I'm doing 3 to 4 days every day, and it gets pretty tiring.
Yeah.
My girlfriend, my coach Albert Hughes is big. He's a big. He helps push me, gives me all the right advice. My sponsor manager Oren with KO Reps. My mom, my dad, the Delarosa family, and just everybody in the local MMA scene that's believed in me, that's been watching me in the jiu-jitsu tournaments coming up. I started out doing big jiu-jitsu super fights and stuff, saying that when I turn 18, I'm going to be a professional fighter. And I just turned 22. I'm here now. I'm about to fight for a world title. I'm only 22 years old. I've put in all the work. I've put in a lot of work. And I'm here now.
There you go. One last question. I know you started out boxing. Do you ever miss it in competing, just doing boxing alone? Do you ever miss it?
Not really. 'Cause I box every day. I go out to Reyes, and we got Tony Lopez. We got a bunch of really, really good amateurs, a couple of good pros. And I get to go in there and spar, and those are my sparring partners. So when I go do my boxing, I'm doing just boxing. So I'm sparring with.
What I'm talking about, like competing in it. Like, do you ever think, like, I want to have a pro boxing match one day?
I do. I was gonna have one like 2 months ago.
Okay.
But it couldn't get an opponent and stuff. It didn't work out. But yeah, I would love to. I want to get that under my belt. I want to at least have 4 boxing fights, at least pro boxing fights.
Right. Obviously, because you got MMA, you got history to make. You got to get into the UFC. That's the major focus right now. But You know what? I want to thank you, Mark. For taking the time out, especially what happened yesterday to get for the interview. I know you guys just got through training. I know how hard it is. Trust me, I do understand. A big good luck to you. October 14th, the Bomb Factory. This is a fight you don't want to miss. It is going to be on Access TV. But if you can't get there, if you can't watch, I would rather watch this fight live. There is going to be some fireworks. If anybody's seen Mark fight or even seen Steven fight, these guys are going to come and bang, and they're going to bring it. It's going to be an exciting fight. October 14th, go get your tickets. And again, good luck to you, Mark. And I will see you October 14th because I will be there.
Sweet. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
You too.
All right. Bye.